So I've been playing video games since I was 3. Literally, I was playing on the Atari.
Nice. 2600?
2600, you'd play things like Kaboom or Pitfall, or there was a Superman game on there back in the day.
Yeah.
It was like you'd pick up little bridge pieces and fly them up and pick up Lois Lane and stuff. So I've been playing video games a long time. And, I as a kid was obsessed with them, and that just never really stopped. But the weird thing was I didn't know how to get into the industry. It seemed like a job that was just not really attainable in a way.
In 1996, it says Orange, so you were in California still.
Yeah, I was in California. I'm born and raised in California, and I went to school there. And, I was always into drawing, and I did, there's this program called Logo Writer that was on like the Apple IIe's, and you could make your own games and animations and stuff. And I was doing a lot of that stuff when I was in junior high, even before high school stuff. And was making like zombies walk around and stuff like that when I was in 7th grade. So I was always into it. I just didn't know that I could apply myself towards going into video games. And I would read all the magazines and stuff about the developers that worked on stuff. So I knew who a lot of the guys were behind the scenes. Like, I remember I played a lot of Twisted Metal, and I was like, who's this Dave Jaffe guy? Right. And I was super into reading about Twisted Metal. And then I'm like, oh, now he's working on God of War. And I knew about all these people in the industry, and I'd always read about E3. And even when I was in high school, that was a big thing for me, but I didn't really know at the time that it could be something that I could get into.
And you never bumped into anybody, like being in California or knowing when E3 is around? You never went down to LA and just tried to get a glimpse? Because I know it was much more secure back in the day getting into E3. You had to be a dev, unlike now where you can just buy a ticket.
Well, it used to be long time ago. It was public, long time ago. And then they shut it off to the public. And then recently, in the past couple of years, they opened it up to the public again. But yeah, no, I didn't know anybody. It was, there wasn't, Blizzard was around, but they weren't at the time. In 96, that would have been like Warcraft 2-ish was kind of coming out, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's
so
true. It wasn't World of Warcraft yet.
Right, yeah, it was just Warcraft 2. And that was big for PC and things like that, but they weren't as big as they are now, right? So there weren't a lot of Orange County devs. There was stuff in LA, but I didn't know anybody. And so the weird thing was, after high school, I went to Cal State Long Beach, and I got a degree in communications. And while I was doing that, I interned at a couple of places. One of the places I interned was at G4 TV. So that was a cable station that had video game news and updates and shows. And so I interned on the show X-Play for 4 months, and I hated it. I hated TV.
What was your intern? It wasn't getting coffee, was it? Or what was it?
No, it wasn't. They, in fact, were very emphatic about it not being that. They were saying,
they wanted you to learn something.
Yeah, they were like, no, don't get people lunch and stuff like that.
What did you learn?
What did I learn? I learned that TV is not glamorous in any sort of stretch of the imagination.
This is true.
It was very much a hey, we're going to go shoot at some park randomly because we need a bit that's going to be a minute long, and it's going to be the bumper for the commercial that we're going to do. Go scout that location and go get stuff set up, and get the leaves off of the park bench that you're going to be sitting on for the bit. And so you'd have to go and get that stuff set up, or you'd have to, for G4 specifically, a lot of what I did was actually played video games. So I would get the B-roll for when they were doing the reviews.
Gotcha.
So
That's cool.
Yeah, so it would be... they would say, like, well, what games do you like? And if you're lucky, you got to, it was like, oh, you like Metal Gear Solid? Okay, here, play Metal Gear Solid. So I was like, okay, I'll get through as much as I can. And then they take that B-roll, and then they'd use it, later.
They comp it in with whoever they're interviewing or talking with or something like that.
Yeah.
So in high school, did you already have an art background to some degree? Did you do those things like what you're saying here about what you did when you were in Cal State?
Long Beach.
Oh, Long Beach, I'm sorry. California State University of Long Beach. Yes. Let me say the whole name. I'm sorry. There are 2 different schools.
Yes.
Right?
CSULB. I had in high school I did art.
Okay.
And before that I'd always drawn as a little kid.
Like doodles, or you were going Saturday mornings to a place and drawing and.
No, like I would take classes in cartooning
Okay.
or animation. I did an animation program in high school actually during the summer. And
Wow. Your
so-
high school is different than mine.
Well, it wasn't at my high school per se.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay.
It was at a
Community center?
Orange Unified School District had
Okay.
a couple of summer courses that you could take.
Oh, wow.